Hare Krishna. Bolo Dasara Mahamotsav ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman ki. So, few days back, one politician passed away, and it was covered in the news, and lot of people came to pay respects to him very recently, I think only 1 or 2 days back. And it so happened that this politician was from a political party, which is, their ideology is atheism. And the chief of that party had also come, and all the media covered that chief of that party coming and offering his condolences, and he was also crying. He was moved to tears. And many other people from that party, they are all avowed atheists, but they all came, paid their tributes. And the chief of the party, also a prominent politician, he also made a statement that this person has left us now, and he was the last person on whose shoulders I could lean upon, and his departure has left a very big void, and things like that. So, whether it is a theist or atheist, whatever your belief systems are, when someone who is very close to you dies, naturally, we will be affected. We will feel the absence of the person. We may not believe in the soul, we may not believe in God, all these things an atheist will not believe. But when a person dies, at that moment, you feel the person has left, he has departed. If there is no soul, then who has departed? What has departed? And if the body is just a bag of chemicals and there is no soul, then when a person dies, why should we cry? Why should we shed tears? All these kind of questions will crop up when we look at these kind of situations objectively. Of course, I am not being insensitive to the pain and the bereavement of the family and those people. But objectively, when we look at it, there is this this paradox that you can see. So anyway, from time immemorial, this difference of opinion and disagreement and conflict has always there between the theists and the atheists, right from the beginning of creation. Like this only, many eons ago, Ravana was a very powerful atheist who also picked up a fight with all the devatas who are all theists, who believe in God, who believe in Vishnu. And this Ravana, who was an atheist, although he is a devotee of Shiva, he is called an atheist. Why? Because he did not believe in the supremacy, he did not accept the supremacy of Vishnu. So this Ravana was extremely powerful, not like today's atheists. Today's atheists are all very weak. Ravana was so powerful, he challenged the power of Indra. Why? Because all the devatas are appointed by Vishnu to take care of the universal affairs. So, by challenging Indra, Ravana wanted to challenge the authority of Vishnu. And naturally, when he challenged Indra also courageously came forward and he accepted the challenge put forth by Ravana. And there was a battle. There was a royal fight between them. And this fight between the two of them is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which says, Vakshasthala sparsha rugna mahendra vaha dandair vidambita kakubjisha udahasa sadyo asubhihesaha vineshyati darahartur vispurjitair dhanusha uchcharato adisainyeh. How did this battle between Ravana and Indra go on. Indra was seated on his elephant carrier, Mahendra Vaha. Indra's carrier is the elephant. So he was seated on the elephant and he was fighting. Ravana must have been on a chariot, and various other people. It was a pitched battle that was going on. Various other generals were engaged with the other devatas and all the foot soldiers, and huge battle is going on. And Ravana directly fighting with Indra, and Indra trying to subdue Ravana. This is the whole scene. And when this battle between Indra and Ravana was going on, what happened? Indra goaded his elephant to go and strike Ravana. And somehow that elephant managed to breach the defenses of Ravana and managed to hit him with its tusks. You can imagine, elephant goring a person with its tusk. What is the fate of that person? He'll be flung into the air and ripped into pieces. That's what normally happens. And this elephant was not an ordinary elephant. It is a celestial elephant from Swargaloka. So you can imagine, far more powerful. Now, Vakshasthala Sparsha, when the tusks of the elephant carrier of Indra came and struck the chest, it struck the chest of Ravana. What happened? Was Ravana thrown into the sky? Was he flung like a doll into the air? None of those things happened. What happened? Vakshasthala Sparsha, the moment the elephant carrier's tusks came and hit Ravana's chest, what happened? Mahendra Vaha Dantair Vidambita Kakubjushaha. The three directions became illuminated. Just like, when we were bringing Krishna Balram in the Pallaki, there were fireworks, and we could see the fireworks lighting up. Now, the whole sky was lit up. Lit up with what? With the pieces, the fragments of the tusk of the elephant being broken into pieces, and it was spread all over. It was sent flying into the sky in all the directions. And Ravana was standing there, and Udahasam, he was laughing loudly. Why? Because he was saying, ha ha ha, look at this elephant. He came and collided with my chest. Now his tusk is broken into 1,000 fragments, and he's finished. And Uchcharato Adhisainya, like this he was strutting around in his army amongst his soldiers. Look at my power. Elephant came, the Swargaloka, the carrier of Indra came and hit my chest, and his tusks are blown away. So this was the power of Ravana. This was how he was so powerful. You can imagine. Such a strong, powerful Ravana. But the same Ravana, what happened? Darahartur, he abducted the wife of Ramachandra. And what happened when he abducted the wife of Ramachandra, Sita Devi? What happened? Ramachandra came and challenged Ravana to a battle, and Ravana and Lord Ramachandra started twanging his bow. Vispurjitair Dhanusha. And simply by the twanging of the bow of Ramachandra, what happened? Sadhyo Asubhihi Saha Vineshyati. Immediately Ravana's life was taken away. That same powerful Ravana was in no time, he was completely vanquished by the arrows coming from the bow of Lord Ramachandra. As we will see today, 45 feet Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they will go up in flames, just like when Ramachandra's arrows came out of his bow. That same Ravana whose chest could survive the impact of the tusks of the elephant carrier of Indra, that powerful Ravana was reduced to a dead body within no time. So you can see how an atheist like Ravana, no matter how powerful it is, just like you see this politician also, he was an atheist, but he refused to surrender to God. But finally, when death came, he had to surrender. He had to leave. Similarly, Ravana also, he refused to surrender to Ramachandra. But when Ramachandra came before him in the form of death personified, he had no other choice but to surrender. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. For the atheist, Krishna appears as death personified. For that politician also, the Lord appeared as death personified, he had to surrender. For Ravana, Ramachandra appeared as death personified, Ravana had no choice but to surrender. So, the choice is in our hands. Whether we want to surrender to the Supreme Lord like Ravana and the other atheists and face the fearsome form of the Lord as death personified and surrender to him at that time, or do we want to surrender to Krishna right now, accept him as the Supreme Lord, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and become totally fearless. A devotee who surrenders to Krishna, to Lord Ramachandra, for him there is no fear. He is not afraid even of death. So the choice is in our hands. Whether we want to be like Ravana and the atheist, all the atheists who are there, who all have to surrender to Krishna at the time of death, and in great fear, they have to surrender to that form of death of Krishna, or do we want to chant Krishna's holy name, surrender to him right now itself, accept him as the Supreme Lord, and be protected from death and become fearless of death? That choice is in our hand. And today, on the occasion of Vijayadashmi, what greater opportunity than to express our surrender to Lord Ramachandra and Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, engaging in Sankirtan, and glorifying that pastime of Lord Ramachandra vanquishing Ravana. Bolo Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Bolo Ramachandra Bhagvan ki jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
According to our Vedic scriptures, it is said that all of us have received two very special gifts. We all like to receive gifts in life during certain occasions. We don't realize that we have received two very special and unique gifts from God. What are these gifts? The first gift that God has given us is this human form of life, this human body. Durlabham Manusham Janma. This Manusham Janma is Durlabh. It is rare. It is not easily obtained. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Labdhva Sudurlabham Idam Bahu Sambhavante. Labdhva, we have obtained this Manushyam Arthadam, this Manushya Jivan, we have obtained, it's Sudurlabha, not only rare, but very rare. And after millions and millions of birth, we have received this human form of life. There are 84 lakh species of life, of which this human species is the rarest and the best. And after going through millions and millions of cycles, we have arrived at this human body. Although it's very rare, so easily we have obtained it. We have it right now. So why is this human form of life very rare and special? Because it is only in this human form of life that we can understand God, that we can put an end to all our sufferings, birth, death, old age, disease. These are 4 sufferings that nobody has solved till today. No scientist, no Muni, no intelligent person, with all research, with all technology, with all artificial intelligence, we have solved so many problems of the world. but we haven't solved this very basic problem of birth, death, old age, disease, and anxiety and suffering. So it is in this human form of life that we can put an end to all these problems. And so human form of life is very, very valuable. The real question to be asked is, why am I suffering? And is there a solution? Who am I? Who is God? How do I understand God? How do I put an end to all this suffering? So the second gift that we have received is the method to know God. The method to put an end to all our suffering has been made very, very easy. God has given us one special mantra. There are many, many mantras in the scriptures. But this mantra, this Hare Krishna mantra, is called the Maha Mantra. Sarva Mantra Sar. In the scripture it is said, Sarva Mantra Sar. Sar means the essence or the best is this Hare Krishna mantra. So the second gift is that we have a tongue and 2 ears with which, if we chant this mantra and if we hear this mantra attentively, then we can put an end to all the sufferings that we have been going through in this human form of life. And it is so easy. We will attain the highest in the most simplest and the easiest manner. It is said to go back to the spiritual world, to go back to the world where Lord Ramachandra lives is not so easy. It is very, very difficult. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. It is very rare to understand Vasudeva. Out of millions and millions of people, one person can understand God. But now, God, in this Kali Yuga especially, has given us a very simple method to understand Him very easily. By the chanting of this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra has got 3 bija mantras, has given us a very simple method to understand Him very easily. By the chanting of this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra has got 3 bija mantras, Hare, Krishna and Rama. Hare means we are addressing the Lord and His energy, the Lord Krishna and the Lord Ramachandra. Krishna means the Lord who is all attractive. He's so attractive that if we chant His name, He will attract us also. He will take away all our sufferings. And Lord Ramachandra, meaning Rama, Rama means the supreme pleasure. So when we chant this mantra along with the names of Krishna and Rama, we get attracted towards their lordship and we are filled with pleasure because we are calling out the name of the Lord who's full of pleasure. Ananda. We all want pleasure in our life. Is there anyone who doesn't want pleasure? We all want pleasure. We all want happiness. Actually, not pleasure. If we want to experience the real pleasure, Ramante yogino anante satyanande chidatmani. It is said that the pleasure in chanting the names of Lord Ramachandra, Ramante yogino anante, it is anante, it is unlimited pleasure. And satyanande chidatmani. Satyanande means it is real pleasure. Satya ananda. Ananda which is real. Satyanande chidatmani, it is spiritual pleasure, chidatmani. And what is that pleasure? Iti Rama padenasav. Just by chanting this name Rama. Parabrahma vidhi, you can experience unlimited pleasure. So we are so fortunate, we are so lucky. We have this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra where the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is there. The name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is there. And any one of us can chant this mantra and experience that bliss, experience that true pleasure, the pleasure that the soul is eternally hankering after. Every moment we can experience this. This pleasure is not limited, is not temporary, it is not little, it is unlimited and eternal in our life. All that we have to do is to chant this mantra nicely with love and devotion. And for sure, you will be able to experience this pleasure in your life, and your human life will be successful. The goal of human life actually is to know God simply by chanting this mantra, put an end to all our sufferings, and experience that bliss, the spiritual bliss, by chanting this mantra. There are three important things that we have to remember if we wish to make this mantra very quickly effective. The mantra is always effective, but if you want to make it very quick, if you want to realize the power of this mantra very quickly, then three things we must remember. One, we must chant this mantra little loudly, because the power is in the sound. The second, we must try to concentrate on hearing the mantra. Hear attentively this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have to hear. And third, we must chant this mantra clearly, very distinctly. Hare Krishna, Rama. All these names should be clearly and distinctly pronounced. So loud chanting, clear chanting, and attentive hearing. If we follow these three things, then we will experience wonders in our life just by chanting this mantra. The whole history of ISKCON is very wonderful. Srila Prabhupada went to the West, to America. He had nothing with him. No money, no acquaintance, no possession, nothing. He had only one thing with him, this faith in the holy name of Lord Rama and Lord Krishna, this Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada went to the West. He sat under a tree in the park. He had nowhere to go. Under a tree he sat, and he simply chanted this mantra. Every day he was chanting this mantra from 2 in the afternoon to 5 in the evening, 3 hours. And just by chanting this mantra, he attracted the citizens of America, the young, the youth of America, who were all getting drifted away. They didn't know what is the goal of life. He attracted them, and within 10 short years, by the power of this Hare Krishna mantra, Srila Prabhupada built 108 ISKCON temples, which today has grown to 700 temples. So this is the live proof of the power of this mantra. Srila Prabhupada himself has demonstrated it, and Srila Prabhupada desired that all his devotees, all his disciples chant this mantra, preach this mantra. That is why today's program, if you see, it is just the Sankirtana and talks also which talk about the holy names of Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. So on this auspicious occasion, I earnestly request all the devotees to please take up this mantra, make this chanting of mantra your life and soul. At least one round of this Hare Krishna mantra. We all chant 108 times, 16 rounds, which is 2 hours. That is a recommendation given by our Acharya. But to begin with, even one round is very effective. It takes only 10 minutes of your time. You invest 10 minutes for Lord Ramachandra, for Lord Krishna, and then you see what you will feel, how you will feel, and Krishna will bless you with bhakti, bless you with devotion, and that is the success of life. So let us pray on this auspicious day to Lord Krishna, to Lord Ramachandra, to help us to chant this mantra, to remember his holy name, chant this mantra attentively, so that this is the best service that we can give to God. We must all do some seva for Krishna, for Ramachandra. This is the best seva we can do, chanting his holy name every day. With these few words, I will end my talk. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Ramachandra Bhagvan ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.
Ramachandra Vijayotsava. We are celebrating the anniversary of Lord Ramachandra's victory over the evil Ravana. And the Ramayana describes in detail the the life history of Lord Ramachandra. So from his very birth itself, the Supreme Lord exhibited his extraordinary position. And every single activity of the Supreme Lord is extraordinary. So when we say Lord Ramachandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he appeared like a human being, but he is not a human being. So particularly this activity of delivering this powerful Rakshasa, Ravana. We don't say Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana, because God is absolute. So there is no difference between his killing and his protection. Both are the same. In either case, whether the Lord protects his devotees or the Supreme Lord kills the demons, he delivers them, he purifies them, he puts an end to their sinful activities. He saves them from going to hell for suffering punishment in hell for all their sinful activities. So in any way, contact with the Supreme Lord is actually purifying. So it's actually the mercy of the Lord that when he comes for the sake of his devotees, he also delivers the demons. That's his mercy. Because the demons are not independent of God. They are also part and parcel of God. They are also God's own children. But due to some misconception, trying to be independent, trying to enjoy materially, they have completely strayed away from God, from the path of God consciousness, from God consciousness, they have gone away to godlessness. And the whole material creation is simply an arrangement how to reclaim all these godless persons. So, Lord Ramachandra, as requested by the devatas, he appeared as the son of Dasharatha and Kausalya, and he came especially for putting a stop to the atrocious activities of Ravana, who challenged his authority. So the description in the Srimad Bhagavatam in brief is that when Lord Rama reached Lanka along with his monkey army, because he was in exile, he could not take his actual army. So he just gathered some monkey soldiers, and they all marched to Lanka. And even while going on the way, Lord Rama displayed his supernatural powers, that they had to construct a bridge to cross the Indian Ocean. And he simply asked the monkeys, just throw some boulders in the water of the ocean. and the water, the boulders floated. And not only they floated, but they also became formed in the shape of a bridge on which millions and billions of monkeys marched without any fear of them sinking in that with that huge weight. So this is only possible for God, because God has created this world, and He can make something sink or make something float according to His will. So that is the position of God. He's the supreme and ultimate controller of everything and everyone, and simply by His will, Satya Sankalpa, by His will everything happens. So He willed that the monkeys will cross simply by a floating bridge made of some boulders thrown in by the monkeys. That's all the monkeys could do anyway. And even when they reached Lanka, this army of monkeys, they had to fight against the army of Ravana. It is described that Ravana's associates, they were equipped with so many different specialized weapons, swords and clubs and rishti weapons and specialized weapons. And the monkeys, they could just do three things. They could throw some stones, they could uproot some trees and hurl them at the enemy, and they could sometimes, some of them could, take some mountain peaks and throw them. Only three things they could do. So, Lord Ramachandra with his brother Lakshmana, only two of them were skilled in fighting with bow and arrows. But these monkeys could only do that much. But because they were blessed by Sita Devi and they were fighting on the side of Rama, so their strength is described in the Bhagavatam as Daiva Shakti. There are two kinds of powers or strength in this world. One is divine power or divine strength, Daiva Shakti. And the other is called Purushakara. That is ordinary strength, human strength. So compared to this human strength, yes, I'll finish. Compared to this human strength, this transcendental power, spiritual power, Daiva Shakti, is very easily able to defeat this Purushakara's Shakti. So the monkeys, simply by fighting in this way, they destroyed the entire army of Ravana. And when Ravana saw that his army was getting completely wiped out, he became very angry and frustrated. And then he personally started attacking Lord Rama. But then, for some time, Rama was just defensive. He was just counteracting the arrows shot by Ravana. But when the time came to actually for Ravana's death, at that time Rama released his Brahmastra, and the Brahmastra went and struck the chest of heart of Ravana. Immediately Ravana fell dead in a moment's time, and everything was finished. So this entire episode of the killing of Ravana, the deliverance of Ravana. Ravana was liberated, purified, and he was saved from going to hell because of the touch of Lord Rama. And that is described in detail in the Ramayana. So on this auspicious day, let us remember the Lord's mercy, especially on His devotees, but even on the demons and everyone. The Lord is for everyone. He is not just for some people, like His devotees or some pious people. No, He is for everyone. And as you have heard, simply by chanting His name, 2 syllables Rama, or 2 syllables Krishna, or 2 syllables Hare, just 2 syllables, we chant the name of the Supreme Lord, and our spiritual life has begun. And by continuing to chant, we make very quick progress, and we are able to get ultimate liberation. Hare Krishna.